Top the Lineup is back, baby.
Ew. Ew.
Episode number 39.
Hell yeah.
We're almost done this year. Not us. We still got plenty left in the tank.
A lot.
Plenty left in the tank. But we're at that time, World Series.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be our World Series preview episode. We'll dive in to the series teams. But before that, we got some quick hits for you. Ken Griffey Jr. has joined the ownership group of the Seattle Mariners.
I like
that's
that.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice little move. Good little touch. I think we're talking off air about this, talking about who would we want the A's, who would we want if the A's were to sell to buy the A's.
Mm-hmm.
And, we talked about, former players, and I love when former players get into ownership, either former players or athletes from other sports.
Mm-hmm.
So love to see this. Getting a player's mind up top will help, paying players, acquiring players, all that great stuff. So love this. Absolutely love this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think this is going to work out very well, especially with the momentum that we saw with the Mariners. I think this is a really good time for Griffey to step in and say, hey, like, this is what we need. You guys want to win. This is how we're going to do it. So, yeah, I'm excited to see that. I wonder if there's going to be more, I don't know if there's going to be a new wave of fans coming into the Mariners fan base. Like, I don't know, like, just with Griffey coming in, I feel like people maybe who've left because Mariners baseball hasn't been the best of recent, they're coming back, and then a new wave of young players, just because Griffey, I mean, even his shoes, I mean, Griffey's shoes to this day are still, as kids these days would say, fire, so yeah, this is cool. I like this.
Love to see it. Cardinals announced their new manager. They did not wait
Already?
around for this. They did not wait around for this. Oliver Marmol, which you're probably saying exactly what I said. Who?
Mm-hmm.
So he was Shilt's bench coach, and he's going to step right in. 35 years old.
Yeah.
So nice little wave of young talent. Just to put some things into perspective, returning superstars Wainwright and Yadier Molina are both older than their new manager. Which, age is just a number, but
yeah. I think this is good, especially of course they have to respect him. He's going to be manager, but I feel like Yadi and Wainwright will be kind of grooming him a little bit. Just kind of ensuring the rest of the team is doing the right thing. So maybe, hey, if you think about it, I don't know if they, how Schilt was, but maybe that was the issue. Maybe he wasn't hearing out Yadi and Wainwright. You know what I mean? Those two are the, when you think the Cardinals, you think Wainwright, you think Yadi right now at this point in time. So maybe that's what it was. So should be cool. Wishing him the best. Definitely, I don't want to say he's on the hot seat, but there's high expectations coming in, especially, getting rid of Schilt so quickly, and then of course, bringing him on. So I feel like there's going to be that expectation, especially with Arenado in his second year coming in as a Cardinal, Goldschmidt, of course. So, and even, some of the pitchers that were injured this year coming back, I feel like there's a little bit pressure going to be happening for the Cardinals.
I'm curious to see if the front office is going to help him out, because I think they're going to need to add some pieces, right? Obviously, if you don't win the World Series, you probably have to add some sort of piece. But I think they need some help, especially in the staff and the pitching staff. Offense, pretty good. I'd like to see them get a little younger, maybe in their infield. But other than that, they need another starter for sure. So
do you think he's going to be a bridge manager?
My fear is that he is. I don't know much about him, so it's kind of hard for me to pass judgment. But whenever you don't see like a big name, I don't know. I'm just very curious why this move still just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
The bench coach makes a lot of decisions. What a lot of
Mhm.
people don't realize is bench coaches have a lot of say.
Mhm.
Sure, they don't have the final say, but they have a lot of say in what's going on. So the team's not really going to be changing as far as the coaching style. Maybe behind closed doors, maybe the leadership style, we don't know that aspect of it. But as far as like decision making, when to pull a pitcher, use of analytics, all that stuff is pretty much going to remain the same. So I don't know, it doesn't make too much sense for me. I wish him the best. I hope he succeeds,
no, for sure, for sure.
Kind of an interesting move.
If you think about it too, though, and kind of just touching on the bench coach aspect, a lot of times when there's interviews for managers, a lot of times it's bench coaches. It's because they've, of course, they've been following the manager, but also they're making a lot of decisions, and that's correct. Even Joe Madden at one point was a bench coach, if you think about it, right? So again, just reiterating, wishing him the best. Hopefully everything goes well. And honestly, I know I asked you that question, but the way the Cardinals culture is, they typically don't have bridge managers. It's kind of, they stick with them for a couple of years, and then just kind of move on. But it's not like, okay, you're good for 1 year, and then we're going to go and try to find Ron Washington or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Very interesting. So the Red Sox season just ended.
Yep.
Rest in peace. But I just kind of want to outline, they went from last to first. They picked up arguably the best player in the draft. They didn't go 1-1, but the kid that they picked up, pretty damn good. So this is like a really good year to be in the Red Sox organization. Bloom is an amazing baseball mind. I'm sure we're going to see some really good moves this offseason. Lots of high expectations. My expectation for them right now is that they're going to win the AL East next year. That's my expectation.
Yeah, Cora is one hell of a mind, a great manager, a manager of the players. Has a good mixture of some analytics and just that old school baseball. You saw him getting on Eduardo Rodriguez when he was doing that My Time
None
stuff.
Of that.
And, I think the Red Sox are moving in the right direction, and he's the captain, man. So I'm excited for the Red Sox. They definitely turned some heads. They definitely proved some people wrong, especially with that division just being so competitive. In reality, the only team that wasn't too competitive is the Orioles, and they haven't been too competitive for quite some time. But you really could have picked any team in that division to win it. So now that Cora has, he's back into it, he's got the juices flowing again. I think, again, high expectations. I hope they re-sign Schwarber. I think that'd be really cool. He did make a name for himself there, which is awesome. So fingers crossed. I think they have a good core starting right now, that just players that they didn't necessarily have a couple years ago, right? Verdugo, you have Kike, you got now hopefully Schwarber, like that little core right there, just those three. Of course, Bogarts, right? Of course, Devers, Martinez, but I feel like they're adding to that core, which is, in my opinion, kind of scary. You know what I mean? That's a big core. It's similar to the Astros. Like, they have a really big core of players that have been there for quite some time, and that's where the Red Sox are at this point in time. So there's nothing to be ashamed about, for the season for the Red Sox. It just happened. You know what I mean? The Astros bested them, and I can't think of anything they really could have done to try to win. They did their best, so.
In this series, there wasn't much that they could have done.
Yeah.
They just got outplayed. But I think at the trade deadline, that's where they lost that series. Their decision to not pick up someone in the bullpen or another starter, that's really what hurt them. Throwing Eovaldi 3 times in that series really hurt them, and when it mattered, it was the 3rd time seeing Eovaldi. So These guys are professional hitters. They're good hitters. You see the same guy 3 times in a row. I like my chances. You know, you talk about when you see a lineup 3 times through just in one game, you know, usually that's when you pull your starter. But if you see them 3 times in one series, I'm going to give the edge to the hitter.
And I don't want to dock the pitching because it was good. But yeah, again, like picking up a starting pitcher, you think about it, you know, Sale was coming off an injury. Eovaldi, although he's been fairly good, you know, he was injured a couple years ago. You know what I mean? And again, just developing that stamina. And even Rodriguez, he was injured. There was a lot of, not now, but there was a good handful of injuries that could linger, you know, for years. So
Correct.
you need that healthy pitcher. I one of the more healthy pitchers I can think of is Charlie Morton. Like, dude, the dude has been in the game for quite some time. He's been healthy. I mean, he was on the Pirates throwing what 92, you know, sinkers. Now he's throwing like 97. Like, it's kind of crazy to grasp. But yeah, Red Sox fans, all you guys that are listening, there's nothing to be ashamed about. You definitely be excited for next year. So
I'm gonna make a bold prediction here.
right
right now.
go.
It just hit my head. Red Sox are gonna go out and sign Marcus Stroman.
Ooh,
I think that's a good
like
fit. Good fit.
Yeah.
They need some electricity in that rotation. Is he the best starter on the market? No, they don't need the best starter on the market, but they need that, you know, solid number 2, number 3 type of guy. And I think that's a perfect fit for him.
I like that. That's a good one.
Stroman to the Bo Sox. Love to see it with a red glove. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think he'd fit right in, dude. He has he has thick skin. He has thick ass skin, bro. He would fit there.
He has the swag to play there for sure.
Yeah.
The Dodgers season also ended. Rest in peace to your loyalty. Man. It was a great year for you as a Dodgers fan. I loved it. I absolutely love this. This was my biggest treat. Look, nothing to be ashamed of here either. I think obviously the expectation was to win the World Series again. But you really can't put that expectation on any team. World Series or bust is just never a good expectation. You know, if we say that next year for the Giants, that's unrealistic, right? Whoever wins the World Series this year, if we put that expectation on them, that's unrealistic. You could say what you want about they won in the 60-game season, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, the playoffs are the playoffs, right? Yes, it was a different, you know, field. No, it didn't have the fans and yada, 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 but they won. And I think it was a legitimate championship. What hurt them is they were playing postseason games since September.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, really, right? You know, when you think about a postseason game, a reliever comes in and they cannot give up a run. If they give up a hit, it's like, oh, fuck, right? But in September, they were trying to catch the Giants, and every win mattered. They went on some crazy streak, and they only moved up a game. And that's how the Giants were playing. So it's hard. They ran out of gas, and you could really see it in this series with the Braves. And yeah, nothing to be ashamed of. I don't think it was World Series or bust for me.
Yeah, you know, being the Dodger fan that I was this year, shit, you know, I agree with you. I mean, September, like they were playing playoff baseball for quite some time, just trying to catch up with the Giants. So the Giants just had something really magical going on. I worry that the media and actually, I mean, the reality is Roberts has always struggled with managing a pitching staff. But I fear that, you know, the media is going to catch up to it, and they may potentially let him go as a manager. And it's quite unfortunate. You know, he's been there, you know, for the team. I think of him similar to Cora. You know, he's a manager for the players. You know, he listens and he makes those efforts. But That's one thing I do fear with the Dodgers organization. Like who would be able to take his place? Like he's done a really good job with the Dodgers, and there's that argument. Oh, you know, the Dodgers pay for rings, but philosophically, everyone is paying for rings. You know what I mean? And I think the other thing is people need to understand that a majority of their players were drafted by the Dodgers.
Mhm.
I would say more than half of their 40-man roster, more than half of them were drafted by the Dodgers. And
And
I want to say,
the players that they picked up were mostly other team scrubs, right? Justin Turner, Max Muncy, Knable, Jimmy
they
Nelson,
didn't, yeah,
Chris Taylor.
they didn't want them. In reality, like that's when I see someone being traded, my mentality is like, okay, they didn't want them. It could be a business aspect. Oh, okay, we need to, you know, dump some money, but what you're going to be dumping money at the end of the season. Obviously, it's because you want to get prospects, but yeah, people just need to understand that every organization has the opportunity to retain their talent. They have the opportunity to keep their talent. The Red Sox gave up, hands down, one of the best players in Major League Baseball, and almost, I would say, in history. He's the guy. You know, when you think of like it's over the span of, you know, this 10 years, I think Mike Trout, I think Mookie Betts, like that's where my mind goes to. And they gave him up. The Dodgers, you need to understand, the Dodgers re-signed Mookie Betts. Okay, they re-signed him. The Red Sox traded Mookie Betts, and that's something people don't understand. Gratterall, people didn't want. It was a three-way trade,
Red
and the
Sox said no.
Red Sox said no, and the Dodgers like, fuck it, let's take this
We'll
guy.
take him. Motherfucker throws 102. We'll
Exactly.
stick him in the bullpen.
So, you know, that's my thing is like people need to understand, of course, right? The highest payroll in Major League Baseball, but they have the means to do it, and so does every organization. So a lot of people will say this is a disappointing year, but I want to say like more than half of the time, like if you're in the top 10 of payrolls in Major League Baseball, there's a good correlation of them not winning the World Series. Like that's, I don't know if you've noticed that.
We just went through that. We just went through the top, 15 teams on as far as payroll, and the majority of them were not in the postseason. Not even winning the World Series, but just not playing in October, period.
Yeah. So and again, if this were the Giants, if this were the Yankees, I'd still say the same thing.
I would still back them up.
I would still back them up. It's, a lot of people would say, oh, because it's Dodgers. No, it's just baseball, man. Like that's how
they're facing so much scrutiny because of who they are. And sure, they're the big dogs. They can take it, right? But I saw all the posts about, all the fans leaving early. I've been to so many A's games where the A's get freaking laced, and it's already the 5th, 6th inning and people are already leaving, right? So I've seen it, and I've been to a lot of baseball games. I've been to a lot, and I've seen it. All fan bases I've seen that I've been, the pleasure of watching their teams play. I've seen it happen. It's not just the Dodgers. I guarantee you I've seen Giants fans leave early. So it's sad, but it is what it is. And and just kind of expanding on that, I've seen way too many people post more about the Dodgers losing than they have their team winning. And when you hate a team so bad that you don't even care about your team, look, at the end of the day, as an A's fan, I can't say much because my team didn't get to the postseason. So who am I to talk shit about, say, the Astros, if the Astros lose, in the World Series? Who am I to talk shit? The Astros played in the World Series. The A's didn't even get close to it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's ridiculous.
I would say there's a good handful of people that I know from the Giants fan base that they love their Giants more than they hate the Dodgers, which is pretty hard to say because a lot of times it's flipped. Giants fans hate Dodgers, hate the Dodgers more than they love their Giants, and
which is a disgrace.
it's unfortunate. I do, I agree with you. There was, there there is more, Dodger hate, more memes on the Dodgers than the Giants like just winning and celebrating. I think the back of a lot of Giants fans, back of their head, like they didn't want to post because they didn't want it to fucking bite them in the ass come towards the end, because they knew deep down that the Dodgers could have came back. So, it's one of these things that's never going to change, bro. Like
No,
there's always that
no.
rivalry, and I get it. There needs to be a rivalry. That's what makes baseball exciting. But we're not going to change anybody's perspective at this.
Never.
At this point in time, they're going to just say fuck off. But just giving my perspective as a Giants fan, and of course this year I had to be a Dodgers fan because that's the game we play, and I'm not ashamed to fucking do that, because I don't identify myself as a specific, fan of a team. I identify myself as a baseball fan. I don't care what team is playing. I don't care who's in the World Series. Dude, I'll fucking watch Little League. I don't give a shit. Like, it doesn't matter to me as long as there's baseball. So yeah, that I saw a lot of that. It's unfortunate. And kind of on the flip side, Yankee fans hate Red Sox fans. Red Sox fans hate Yankees fans, right? I did not, and maybe it's just the algorithm, right? With Instagram, I didn't see too many Yankee fans hating on the Red Sox. I feel like they were in a mix, right? You're like, okay, do I root against the Red Sox or do I root against the Astros? Like they it was hard for them,
lose.
But I didn't see much of it. It's probably because of that, but long story short is, just enjoy some baseball. Don't waste your energy on hating a team. It doesn't do you any good. I mean,
it doesn't look good when your team didn't get to the NLCS.
So it is what it is. That's
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Last thing on the Dodgers, this might be their last year of this dominance. We talk about them keeping their talent. So they're free agents this coming year. Corey Seager,
drafted by the Dodgers.
Clayton Kershaw,
drafted by the Dodgers.
Kenley Jansen,
drafted by the Dodgers.
Max Scherzer, can't say that
got traded.
Acquired.
Okay.
Chris Taylor,
got picked up because the Mariners did not want him. So go on.
Correct. Corey Knebel,
didn't want him. Brewers did
not want him. Jimmy Nelson, Brewers did not want him.
Didn't want him.
Albert Pujols.
Hey, guess what? The Angels didn't fucking want him.
And Joe Kelly.
Hey, they didn't want him.
So all of those guys are free agents, and some of those aren't, very notable. Steven Souza is also a free agent. And there's one other one that I'm missing. Oh, Danny Duffy, who didn't even play for the Dodgers, but
Rose didn't want him.
Yeah. That's it. At the end of it, that's what it is. If you want them, you keep them.
Yeah.
So
don't give me that. The spending bullshit. Like don't give me that. Every team I looked at, like the past maybe 20 years, there's an evolution of teams that are in that top 10. The Tigers at one point were like the number one team in terms of payroll. Okay, at one point the Pirates
were fielder.
Yeah, so don't give me the we can't spend money. Every team, I would say, besides the fucking besides the Rays and the Oakland Athletics, every team has been up there, and that's the reality of it. Top 10. So sorry, I had to.
And if they can do it at one point, they can fucking do it at any point.
Exactly.
So we'll see, and we'll dive into this more during the off season, but we'll see kind of how things shake up. It's going to be intriguing. The Giants are on the upward. The Padres
on the upward, but there's a good handful of free agents coming off the Giants right now, which is, again, like, you're going to have to pick and choose. I think
for both teams.
Yeah.
So we shall see. This is going to
someone's going to say, well, why don't they just pick up everyone? Well,
it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen because there's going to be other teams that are going to want to pay them more, and the Giants are going to want to pay more, and it's really just going to be up to the player. It's going to be up to the player if they want to be
where they want to be.
The Giants. Yeah, that's the reality of it. Most players get 2 to 3 offers on average. Like that's typically how it goes. So they get to choose who they want. The free agents.
Free to do what you want.
Exactly.
Top 5 names that I just named: Seager, Kershaw, Jansen, Scherzer, and Taylor. Out
You
of
said Scherzer
those,
twice, but that's fine.
Seager, Kershaw, Jansen, Scherzer, Taylor.
There you go. Yeah.
Out of those names, how many of them return?
I think Taylor is returning and Kershaw.
I think Seager and Kershaw,
Mm,
and the other 3 are not.
yeah.
We shall see. To be continued. Enough love for the teams that are not in it. Let's
Yeah.
give some love for the teams that are in it.
Hey-oh.
My Atlanta Braves.
Mm-hmm.
We are here, baby. Did not see this coming. Did not see them making the postseason after they lost to Cunha. They made some huge moves at the deadline that I questioned because I didn't think they were big. But hey, they are big now.
Dude, at one point we're like, why are they even making trades? Like their season's over. Why are they even trying to make that? Yeah.
And they proved us wrong. I want to point out one trade. Eddie Rosario. Do you know who the Braves traded for Eddie Rosario?
Pablo Sandoval, the real MVP,
Pablo
baby.
Sandoval, a washed up bench player at best.
World Series champion. All right. You got to add that in there.
Yawn.
Okay? World Series champion. Throw that in there. All right.
Yawn. Yawn. That's who they traded away. A salary dump. Doesn't even matter. For the NLCS MVP, one of the hottest hitters on the face of Earth right now. Pablo Sandoval. That's what they got rid of. That's how they got him.
Dude, they ended up DFAing Pablo Sandoval.
It was just a who cares move.
Fuck it. They're like, fuck it. Let's
fuck it.
We need to trade someone, right? We need to get someone back, right? We can't just give them to you.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
That's almost it's not equivalent, but it's almost like the Cardinals getting Arenado. The Rockies like, yeah, we'll give you money and you can take them.
True. The Astros, their rotation continues to impress.
Yeah.
Their offense continues to impress. We'll give you your love on the Yordan Alvarez pick.
Yeah, I called that baby.
Good one.
Called it,
and he was the ALCS MVP. The dude puts up Barry Bonds type numbers. He looks like a reincarnation of Barry Bonds. The fear of facing that man is similar, not exact.
Not exactly. We're not walking him bases loaded. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like,
Correct.
Hey, the Rays might. The analytics might tell the Rays to do it. You know.
Hey, if we walk them, they win. But hey, the analytics say less damage. We'll just go right for it. Who's gonna win this series?
Woo! That is so tough, man. I feel like, I want to say the Braves just because of their storyline. You got Freddie Freeman, right? World Series, Brian Snitker, you got fucking Tyler Matsik, Eddie Rosario, like the list goes on, right? Want to do it for Jock too. But I feel like the Astros, have the momentum. The Braves, like freaking, like I feel like they just came out of a fight and they're fucking limping, ready to. They just went through the gauntlet, right? They just went through the gauntlet. They're ready to go. And yeah, the Astros, and Red Sox, they battled it out, but that momentum in that last game, it's kind of scary. So I'm going Astros. Let's get Dusty his first ring as a manager.
Astros in how many?
6.
Oh,
it's not going to be a sweep. I don't think Charlie Morton would allow it, and I don't think I don't think the Braves bullpen would allow it. So
shout out to the Braves bullpen for being pretty damn good, because that was their biggest weakness, and that's why I thought they were going to lose the series against the Dodgers. I think their luck is going to run out, and I have the Astros in 4.
Oh wow.
I have the Astros sweeping. I
All
think look, the Dodgers are a great team, but you could just see there was no gas left in that tank. And, kudos to the Braves doing everything that they did. But I still question that bullpen against these hitters. The Astros have plenty of gas in the tank. So I gotta give, eventually Morton's going to get pulled from that game.
Yeah.
Fried is going to get pulled eventually. And even Fried, I could see giving up a stinker. So I'm worried that my Braves are going to get swept. I got the Astros in 4. I don't think it's going to be pretty. I think it's going to be pure dominance. This Astros team is one of the best teams I've seen in a long time.
Yeah. And I think we mentioned this too. I need to like bring up videos of us like saying shit, because some I won't at this point people were like, oh come on, you call them bullshit. But at one point we were just saying like people hate the Astros so much that they completely disregarded the fact that they they were in first place and they were a dominant team.
Yep.
So I think that's I think this guy who's going to MVP.
It's tough. You never know. My last pick was Kyle Tucker for the ALCS. That did not happen. I'm going Jose Altuve. He is the new Mr. October.
I'm gonna go with the pitcher, actually.
I thought about doing that too.
I'm gonna go Fromber, baby.
And that's who I would have chose too if I would have chose the pitcher. So we're thinking along the same
Braves?
lines.
How about Braves if the Braves win?
If the Braves win, it has to be Riley has to turn it on. If the Braves are going to win, they need Austin Riley to produce. You could go Riley or Freeman, and either way, they need those guys to produce if they are going to win the series. But I'll choose Riley because I've been riding him for a while.
You've been on it, yeah. I think I'm gonna stick with. I think I picked Swanson last time, but I'm gonna stick with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
From Omaha to this World Series now.
Hey,
good for him. Love me some Dansby. Anything else you want to touch on this series?
I think this is really good for the Atlanta fan base. They haven't had much luck. They've had the the bad luck of Atlanta, and they kind of surpassed that a little bit, passing the Dodgers, right? Because same thing happened last year, they ended up losing. So I think this is really good for the Atlanta Braves fan base. And I think for the Astros, this just solidifies that this team is legit. This team for the past 5 years have been literally dominating the West, have been dominating Major League Baseball. So this World Series specifically is going to solidify that they're a dynasty. Like, people are not acknowledging them because of what happened in the past, right? That actually leads to the Q&A that we have here.
Yes,
from our top lineup fans. So the first question that we were asked is, if the Astros win, will anybody forget the cheating scandal? I think so. You think what he says? Anybody, not everybody. Okay, that's verbiage.
Oh, okay.
All right. You could, if you say everybody, no, like that's the reality. But the reason I say this is because people forget, and obviously this is a long freaking time ago, but people forget that the White Sox, threw a World Series and obviously it's not talked about too much unless you're a big baseball head. But I think, yeah, I think minds will be changed. There's nothing. I mean, unless you do some more research, unless you find that they were cheating this year, I think this is going to change some minds. You go back to Tapera talking crap about the Astros. They dominated away. They destroyed them that last game. What did they have cameras there? Did they have some internal cameras there? I don't know, but
there's no way they're still cheating.
Yeah. So
Chris Bassett said it best. There's no team cheating anymore.
Yeah.
Look, the Astros, what they did was not right.
Yeah.
But they weren't the only team doing that. And everyone still has it in their mind that it was just the Astros. The Astros were the only ones that got caught.
Or the scapegoat. They were the scapegoat, dude. Like, think about that. Other teams were like, oh shit. What I mean?
Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
I mean, imagine how bad it would be, right? If someone investigated every organization and said, yeah, at one point in time, every organization cheated that year. Like how horrible would that be? Same with steroids. There's players right now, or not right now, but players during the steroid era that didn't necessarily get caught. They had a couple scapegoats and it was it. That was it.
It's like the Hall of Fame case, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that they took steroids, but you don't know that Frank Thomas, Mike Piazza, Ken Griffey Jr., you don't know that they didn't take steroids. We like to, these are our heroes, right? So we like to assume that they did not, but you don't know that. Larry Walker, same thing. You assume that he didn't. You hope that they didn't, but you don't know. But going back to the question, I think the fair weather fans are still going to bang the trash can, still call them cheaters, still yell at them, still boo them, all of that stuff.
It's the only excuse.
Yeah. I think the people with deep baseball knowledge, the people that root more for their team than they do rooting against their rivals, those kinds of people, I think they'll definitely give the Astros the love they deserve. But your fair weather, your Billy, your Tom, your Joe, your normal fans, they're never gonna forget it.
Yeah.
Until
I'm pretty sure there's fans, who hate the Patriots with Tom Brady and Deflategate. Like that's
correct.
There's still people out there. So
yep. And until those players leave, they'll forever get the hate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how important is the on deck circle? This is a good question.
Yeah. I think it's very straightforward, but I think it's very important. I think it gives the batters the opportunity to, one, time the pitcher, right? Of course, they have all the analytics that's telling them they've probably been, practicing that, but one, time the pitcher. And honestly, I think it also just gives them the opportunity to get in that mindset. Like imagine not standing there and they're like, you just walk up to bat. Like it's a bit different. You get to be in your space and try to breathe and try to get mentally prepared to do that. And you could do that in the dugout, but it's a bit different. You're a lot closer, right? You're in the environment. You have fans heckling you. You have just a bunch of different things in your environment that could affect you from focusing, and you're able to do that. It's kind of like that white noise, right? After one point in time, you're able to block out all the bullshit that's coming around you. So I think, the on deck circle is very important. I mean, look, if we didn't have it, I don't know, maybe batting averages would be different. I don't, obviously, like there's those batters like Harris, come off the bench and fucking do great back in the day, but there's not a lot of those players like that. So yeah, it's very important.
I agree. I think it's more of a mindset thing. I don't think it's a physical thing as far as, you have to stretch out your arms, make sure your swing's right. I think it's more of just a mental being prepared. So I think it's important for sure. This is a good one.
Yeah.
This is a good one. Does MLB go on strike on December 2nd? I don't know. I will start there. I don't have a clear answer. Last time the CBA was, being worked on, it seemed like they were going to go on strike. There is a high chance that they do go on strike, but you never really know. These things are hard to predict. Right now, ESPN put out an article saying that it is very likely. You got teams that are saying that they're not ready to spend yet until this is all figured out. If I had to bet, I would say yes.
I'm with you, and I don't see it. The reason I see it happening is not from a logistics standpoint, but because from a media standpoint, like how, again, it's more of a conspiracy type thing. Like if they do this, there's more eyes on Major League Baseball. I feel like in just this day and age, like shit like this is like people love to see this shit. I feel like this is
media gold.
Yeah,
media gold.
Yeah. So from a logistics standpoint, I feel like they're just gonna hold off, and baseball has become more of a business, now than it has been in the past. I feel like and that's obviously it is a business, but I feel like there's the what's in it for me, fuck you guys. Like it's more of that, mentality. So
especially on the ownership level.
Yes. We saw that last year, right? We saw that last year. So we should get some we might have to get some people who specialize in like freaking economy or something to talk about this numbers. Yeah, but I think it might happen. Will it be long? I don't think so.
Yeah, yep. I was just gonna ask you that, and I agree. I think this gets figured out before spring training. If it were to go into spring training, maybe like the first week, like when pitchers and catchers report. But I think this gets.
They can't afford to do it based off of last year with everything. They can't afford to
a decision will be made. Yeah, a decision will be made. How will starting pitchers be used? I'm assuming this is going to be in the World Series, or is
I think so.
The Astros are ready to go. 100%. I think the Braves, this is where some question marks come. How does Ian Anderson look? We've seen kind of wishy-washy starts from him. And not having kind of hurts for the Braves, having that extra arm. I don't have much on this.
I think starting pitchers are gonna go longer. I think they're gonna go 5, 6, maybe even 7 innings. I think of course playoffs, it's all about the bullpen, but I feel like with these two managers and the pitching staff that they have, I think some of these games, these starting pitchers are going to go longer than they usually do. Typically in the playoffs, it's maybe 4 innings. You'd be lucky if you get 5. Fromber went 8, right? So I think these are going to be long games for starting pitchers. That's just my thing.
I think that'll be the case on the Astros side. I'm worried about the Braves side. I think you can definitely get that from Morton, Fried, and Anderson. I kind of worry. Keys to the Braves winning the World Series. Offense from the guys that you expect it from.
Yeah.
So Freeman and Riley. Having a Rosario go off is amazing. But you need and Jock, right? And it's not that you don't expect it from those guys. It's just those aren't your best hitters by any means. So you need Riley to step it up. You need Freeman to step it up. Even a guy like Dansby Swanson, Albies, I feel like, he was in there, he was scoring you runs, but I mean, like, they need they need to hit, 300, 400 with, getting into scoring position on one swing of the bat.
Yeah.
That's the most important for me. The second most is the bullpen needs to feed off of this momentum that they just had in the Dodgers series. And if they can shut me up, as far as me judging them, these are good things. And obvious last thing, obvious is silence the Astros bats, right? Know how to pitch to them, but very
Kind of
difficult.
hard.
Very
Kind of
difficult.
hard. Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree with you with the offense. The one thing that scares me is that, again, the Braves were facing a pitching staff that was depleted. The
Correct.
Scherzer, he was tired. His dead arm, as he was saying. His pitches were flat. Even Bueller, he was shaky. The whole, I mean, from the get-go, he was shaky.
Correct.
So they're facing a different pitching staff, and of course the Red Sox teed off on the Astros, first couple of games, but those pitches were still pretty fucking good. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like it was flat. Like, they were good movement, good speed. The balls look lively. It's just the Red Sox were able to pick up on it. So yeah, it's really important that those guys that you mentioned, that they're able to pick it up. I think Soler is going to be the game changer here. I think he's going to be the big name. I don't think he's going to win the MVP, but I think he's going to come up clutch a couple times, especially in the late innings. In terms of pitching, of course, starting pitching is important, but they are going to live and die by Luke Jackson. I feel like Luke Jackson is, especially like these past two outings, he struggled. He struggled. He mentally, he's not there. You could see clearly when he was out of the game, the last game that they played, he was worried. You can see the frustration. You can see the anxiety. He struggled, and I'm pretty sure Snicker is still going to give him that chance, just how he is. So he's the guy. Like, he's the one that's going to set that momentum. Of course, Matsik, right? I feel like Matsik's been cleaning up everyone's, shit. Like, he's the cleanup guy, but this is a key player. If you're able to keep him in the game, if he's able to get these outs, I think that's the momentum that they'll get from him. Because for the most part, he was the one that unfortunately kind of killed the vibes, I guess you'd say, for the Braves a couple times.
Gave Dodgers life.
Yeah.
Minter went out there and it was like, oh boy, this game's over. As soon as Minter came in, he was just dominating. And then Jackson comes in. It's like, hold your horses. This game might not be over. Yeah. Obviously they won, but you don't want to do that to a team that has gas. Because they'll score. The Astros will score 7 runs in one inning off of you. And it'll be set up by the 3 walks, 2 walks, whatever that Jackson did the other day. So lots of keys for them to win. Hopefully we see it, but I'm still going Astros with a clean sweep. We're gonna transition into our shout outs, but shout out to those sending questions to us. I love getting these questions. Especially these are good questions. So love that.
I do it specifically. I'll put baseball questions because we do have those fans like, this, what's your favorite color, and that's not a dumb question or anything like that, but we want to be able to we want to make sure that we want to make sure we're answering baseball questions. But hey, wow, we've done pretty good so far. Past couple episodes we haven't been too negative, no negative. Hell yeah,
there was no negativity besides me hating on the Braves bullpen. nothing depressing. Oh
my gosh,
love that. Alex Anthopoulos, the GM of my Atlanta Braves, deserves a huge shout out. He picked up guys that kind of same thing as the Dodgers, guys that people didn't want. Obviously the Cubs trading Jock they're not competitive, might as well get a prospect, right? But Rosario for Pablo Sandoval wasn't let's get some prospects.
Holy shit. He's like, hey, Pablo for sure.
Like, you have one overweight corner infielder You know what's better than one of those? Two of those.
Oh my gosh.
Especially one
and
you're
he's
gonna
a World
DFA
Series
him.
champion.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
a
he
World
does
Series
have.
champion.
He has a couple rings on his fingers. He did amazing. You know, picking up Jock, picking up Duvall. We haven't really gave love to Duvall, but picking him up, Soler, Rosario. This whole damn outfield. You lost one outfielder. Well, okay, you lost your starting outfield.
Yeah,
but there's one that stands out is losing Acuna.
Yeah.
You lose Acuna and they panicked, and that's when I thought their season was over. But they went out and got a whole damn new outfield.
Yeah,
which is crazy. So big shout out to him. Kind
Dude,
of
I mean,
rolling.
think about it too. Sorry to add to that, Morton, right? I mean, they picked up Morton, and that's huge. That's freaking huge. And honestly, I mean, this might not be a hot take, but I think he's gonna win executive of the year. I think that's going to him.
It's likely. I don't know when the voting ends on that. If the voting ends before postseason, I think it would still be hard for him to win it.
Yeah,
Farhan.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
we're giving shout outs here. You're being negative. I'm sticking with that shit. All right, I'm sticking with it.
Okay. Yeah, when nobody expected the Giants to win anything, and they have guys like Lamont Wade coming out of nowhere, I would probably go that way. Just saying.
Yeah.
I see the positivity.
Be a finalist. He'll be a finalist.
He would be a finalist. He would be a finalist. Don't forget to mention whoever the Jays GM is and the White Sox, and he'll be in the top 10.
He'll be up there. Oh man.
Tyler Matsik.
Hell yeah.
So this kind of bounces off of Anthopoulos, because Anthopoulos gave Matsik a second chance. Matsik was out of the game, which I didn't know that until the other day. Yeah.
Our post?
No, before that.
I know for that, obviously. Yeah. Just to add some context, so I have this here. So in 2009, he was the first round draft pick by the Rockies, and he was in the Rockies organization from 2009 to 2015. Over that time span, he developed the yips, which is it could be anything along the lines of not having the ability to control, from lacking confidence, the whole shebang. That's what the yips is. And then he also developed performance anxiety. So from that time span, he struggled a lot. So in 2015, he did get released by the Rockies. So just put that in perspective. He was out of baseball for the next couple of years. And then he tried to make a comeback and got released 3 times. 3 times he tried with that comeback by the White Sox, by the Mariners, and by the D-backs, which is freaking crazy. And he still tried pushing. So then he made the transition to play independent ball. And, with independent ball, there's not a lot of players. If you look at just, the data points that, get picked up. That's the reality of it. There are good players from there, but I'm just making a point here. Then, the Braves decide, hey, let's give this guy a chance. Let's give this guy another look, because that's what, Alex did, which is pretty cool. So this man, what a fucking journey, was out of baseball for 2 years, was working on himself with anxiety, had the yips, and now 2021, he is an NLCS hero, right? And now he's going to the World Series. So, I mean, talk about don't give up on your dream. And think about it. He thought about giving up, right? He was out of baseball for quite some time, and he just made another try. And that's inspiring, man. That's something that, if there's any younger kids, listening to us, don't give up. I have a couple friends that, they didn't start there at all high school to play baseball, and they ended up playing college ball. So again, lower level in that regard, but again, just don't give up on your dreams, because Matsik is a great example of that, man. So kudos to Tyler, man. That's awesome. I got super excited just typing this shit out, dude. I got excited. Yeah,
love to see that. Let's give some love to Brian Snitker.
Yep.
44 years.
Hell yeah.
in the Atlanta Braves organization, and he brought them back to the World Series. They haven't been there since 99, haven't won since 95, and they're back thanks to Snicker. Say what you want about Anthopoulos putting the players on the field, but the morale had to be down when you lost your star.
You lost Soroka too.
Ozuna, you lost your ace, right? Low expectations. I didn't think they would win the division. I didn't think they would be in the playoffs, period.
Yeah.
And Snicker didn't give up on them. He still led them. And this is where they're at now.
Yeah. And I told you offline, I think it's pretty cool. 44 years, who wore that number 44
for
in the Atlanta
Bravos.
Braves organization?
Hank Aaron. Rest
Hey,
in peace.
That could be they could surprise us again and take it. You never know.
Don't sleep on them. Didn't think they were going to beat the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Didn't think they were going to beat the Brewers. 0 for 2 so far. Staying with the managers, Dusty Baker.
Yep.
He is joining 8 other managers to win a pennant in both leagues. He is number 9. He won the pennant with the Giants back in 2002, and now with the Astros here in 2021. He just solidified for me a Hall of Fame career. He just became a Hall of Famer in this year.
Yeah. Talk about, I may have mentioned it before, but talk about like if you love something, like you time's not even a thing. Like this guy has literally, he played baseball for almost 20 years. And then here he is as a manager. Like, talk about the love of the game, which is awesome. So shout out to Dusty. I think he's like 5 teams he's managed, and they've, had winning seasons and they've been successful. That just goes to show what type of manager he is. And yeah, I love the guy, man. He's an awesome manager. Yeah, shout out to you, Dusty.
I'd love to see that.
Hell yeah.
Staying with managers and just moving into teams that are no longer with us. But Alex Cora turned these Red Sox around. Say what you want about the cheating scandal, but he brought players there. Players want to play for Alex Cora. That is why Kike left the Dodgers. And sure, I don't know if the Dodgers offered him a contract, but one of the big reasons he wanted to go to Boston was because of Cora. So people want to play for him. It doesn't matter how good, how bad. If that's, the culture that you're building, it's going to be successful. It's going to be successful when people want to work for you, when people want to play for you. And that's exactly what happened. They got to the ALCS when not many people had them getting into the postseason this year. Nobody had them being better than the Rays. Nobody had them being better than the Yankees. And a lot of people had the Jays better than them too. So kudos to Alex Cora.
Yeah, and going back to Dusty too, I think it's pretty cool the fact that he played with Hank Aaron, which is pretty cool. I just had to add that because he's been talking about it. He's doing this for Hank. He's doing it for all of his friends that passed away recently. So I think that's pretty cool of Dusty. So
yeah,
I just wanted to add that. We have 2 more shout outs, but I have a shout out that I want to say at the end. So just starting, the next person would be Kenley Jansen. Dodger fans know that he has struggled for quite some time. Definitely, if you look at his whole career, dominant closer, scary. I like the way he finished. Unfortunately, right, they didn't make it to the World Series, but if he doesn't go back to the Dodgers, he left a pretty good taste, for the Dodger fans. It's sad to say it, but I don't think he's coming back.
I don't
unfortunately.
think so either.
I think, dude, honestly, I mean, the Cardinals might pick him up. I don't know. I feel like it could be one of those things. They need a closer. They don't have a legit closer.
Well, you look at any potential playoff team, right?
Yeah.
That would be an upgrade for the Braves.
Yeah.
Could be an upgrade. And
Will Smith is pretty damn good, but
yeah, but Kenley's better.
Yeah.
And you always want to upgrade. You always want to upgrade.
That's true. Yeah, you can have two closers like the White Sox, right?
Yeah, exactly. Fuck it.
Yeah.
The Giants,
but
the Giants
no,
fucking like 3 closers.
Yeah, no, exactly. But yeah, shout out to Kenley. I think that's a good way to, if it were to happen, to kind of end your time with the Dodgers. So I just wanted to give him some love because a lot of people don't. Every time people will see him coming up to pitch, like, oh, fuck,
oh,
here we go, here we go. But I mean, yeah, it's hell of a career with the Dodgers. The other one is Chris Taylor. So the reason why I put Chris Taylor up here is one, he's a utility player, right? You ask him to play first, he'll go play first. You put him at short, second, third, fucking center, it doesn't matter. Shit, if you want him to pitch, I'm pretty sure he'd be a pretty damn, good pitcher as well. So I just want to give him that love because, yeah, there's a lot of utility players, but the amount of impact that he made as a utility player, not only with his glove, but also with his bat, and it showed, in the playoffs, he is an impactful player. He finally made the All-Star votes, which is pretty cool. He was on the All-Star team this year, and I've told you multiple times, anywhere else he'd be an All-Star from the get-go. He is a solid baseball player. So I just wanted to show him some love just because he does fall in the shadows under Bellinger and Seager and fucking Mookie Betts, right? Like, the list goes on. So yeah, I just want to give him some love.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I think he leaves. I don't think he'll be back in LA because he can go be a starter for a lot of other teams. So, but yeah, big shout out to him.
Go the Red Sox.
Kike would be like, motherfucker.
Damn it.
It's fucking another utility blocking me. With the Dodgers having McKinstry and McKinney, they have some utility options.
Yeah.
That's why I see him gone.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Any other shout outs from you?
I am complete.
All right. So my shout out is to you.
To me.
Yeah. So it's Monday, right?
It is Monday.
Tomorrow's the World Series.
Tomorrow is the World Series Game 1, baby.
This is the week of your wedding. And
it sure is.
The fact that we're getting on here and talking about baseball just goes to show the type of baseball fan that you are.
Dedication of the game, baby.
I'm pretty sure you had to ask for approval and stuff like that, which I appreciate. Gotta get the permission slip signed and everything. But I truly do appreciate the fact that we came on here today and talked about baseball. Because one, you love baseball, but also it's for our fans, right? It's for our top of lineup fans. People ask us, when our next episodes are going to be on, which is awesome, right? So I just want to give you a shout out because with an event this huge of your life, like it's something I truly appreciate, and I'm pretty sure our fans, appreciate it too. So shout out to you, dude.
Appreciate that. Yeah, priorities are straight. Top of the lineup first, wedding number 2, baby. Kidding, of course. Gosh. But yeah, no, this is, it's exciting times. The World Series is something that I look forward to every single year, and I want to talk about it. I want to talk about the news, right? Whenever I see anything happening in the sport of baseball, I want to share it. I want to talk about it because I know not everyone, sees this news and might not understand it. They might see it but not understand what it means. And so the people that we do, that listen to this, that hear our message, that's what it's all about. And I would make time for that anytime. So love what I do for sure.
Hell yeah.
I don't got anything left.
I mean, of course, we always do it, but shout out to the top lineup fan base, man. I feel like we need to have like a name for our fan base or like a mascot, something. we'll work through it. But just shout out to everyone.
The middle
again,
of the order.
middle of the order. Yeah, no. But yeah, I appreciate you all. It's always good. I feel yeah, again, whenever I see news, I'm ready to talk about it. Hopefully, you all learned something. I mean, I'm pretty sure not a lot of people knew what the yips was, right? So yeah, I shout out to you all. It's always fun, and we have a lot of good things. This year was the pivotal year for us. Of course, we had last year, right? We started off, but this was the year for us to like truly show that we're here to stay and also here to impact. So
yeah, 100%.
Be ready for it. More to come.
Always. Top lineup out, baby.
Deuces.